Back to kinetic chain disc golf. Today, this is Kylie golf. Kylie's won't stay in the basket, all baskets are treated like tone poles for the purposes of scoring. It's a good thing I hit that tree, because I would have gone way past if I hadn't. Kylie's take a lot less power to get moving, but the challenge is keeping them straight, keeping them on line in tight corridors like this. When putting, I like to hold it just like this. Do pretty much just like a pitch putt, but more like a dad putt, so from the side. You want to kind of snap your wrist when it's about waist level. Otherwise, tend to pop it over the basket while it's spinning. As you can see, just like a forehand in disc golf, these will fade to the right naturally. You can increase the angle which you're throwing them more towards vertical in order to get them to go left, but it can be a challenge to make them have a gradual left-hand turn at the end of the flight as opposed to more like a hook shot. Unlike a disc, the Kylie, as it slows down, actually angles itself more nose up at the end of the flight, causing it to lift again at the end of your flight. So a downhill shot like this can also be a challenge to keep on line. I'm going to try to keep this one from going over the hill by doing a reverse throw. This one in particular will get a large amount of lift at the end of the flight. So I'm going to put a little bit of Anheuser angle on it, hope that it doesn't fly over the hill as we go. Sometimes it can be hard to keep these from going too left when you do want to put a little Annie on them, but we're going to do our best. Should be close to the top. Let's find out. And we did land right in front of the basket. I heard something that counts. Hole number 6. This is another one that's going to curve left late in the flight, so it's going to be hard for me not to hit early. Usually get caught up in some of those guardian trees about 80, 100 feet before the basket. So we're going to try our best to stay in the fairway today. That tree kick might have actually helped because I did not hold my left hand angle. It started turning off to the right there at the end. Alright, here we are, right about circle 2. So what I like to do from this distance is actually turn the Kylie upside down. So the more they spin, the more lift they get. And if they're upside down, it's going to keep it from going past the basket by pulling it down to the ground the more I put whip on it, pretty much. I'm realizing that what I said also applies to these vertical throws. So because the top side is curved over here, sorry, when I hold them like this, the top side is curved here, they keep moving a little bit to the left, so I need to correct that by aiming a little bit right.
Hole 7's basket's right there through those trees. And this shot, because it goes downhill and then uphill, should set me up pretty well for this little reverse throw.
So again, when holding it this way, they'll do a lot of lift at the very end of the flight. So I need to point it down just a little bit of Annie, and it should lift back up at the end, put me right next to that basket. That's just beautiful, isn't it? I love them. Okay, so on hole 8, once again we're going downhill. I'm going to do my best to keep it from veering off too far to the left and hitting the woods early, or coming out early and veering off to the right where there is OB. And we went a little too far left, didn't make it through. Alright, we got a bit of a backdrop here, so I'm going to try something a little risky. Once again, we're going with that reverse arm throw. I got to keep it low enough so that when it suddenly lifts, it'll hopefully veer right over and hit the basket. Fortunately, that was way offline. Had about the right height though. Alright, hole 9's tee shot's going to be very similar. I need to have a little bit of a late left-hand turn while also moving downhill. One of the problems on that last hole, I think I had a little bit too nose up to begin with, so we're going to try to aim it down just a little bit. Beautiful.
Alright, so there's our short basket, and right over here is where our Kylie landed. Just giving you that angle so you know where I'm aiming for this next shot.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about technique and what I've found to be helpful, what works. Generally, if you overpower these things, you're going to get so much lift that they rise straight up in the air. They kind of move backwards. You sort of saw that happen on hole number 1. So what you kind of want to do instead is make it a very much, it's like a hook in boxing pretty much. And I'm not talking about, you know, this very straight on, this kind of hook. It's more of like a scooping hook. So you're kind of pulling it into your chest as you go. It's very much about that wrist action more than it is your upper arm and elbow. You do want a little bit of a weight shift as you do that, and you just kind of want to scoop it in along the line you want, because we really just want to get it spinning and not overthrow it. Ooh, not quite enough turn to the right and an unfortunate kick, but let's go see what we can do on the green. Again, didn't quite correct for that left-hand movement enough. Even though we don't have to get these to stick in the basket, just like disc golf, putting is the most difficult thing. We're gonna be patient with ourselves because we're still new with this. This hole is a par 4, so this is a par save. Imagine with practice, those birdies be falling right in. Okay, on a hole like number 10, we've got a lot more sky to work with. You can actually afford to give them a little bit more oomph on something like this, but it is still going to be hard to keep it in the fairway. Generally, what I do is I'll take a pinch grip instead of holding it like a hammer grip, and I want to kind of aim it up into the sky with a lot of vertical angle. Now, if I put too much on there, it is going to fade way off to the left, and I'm going to be kind of far away from where I want to be. If I don't quite put enough, it is just once again going to come out of that angle early, scoop up into the sky way too high, and come backwards. We're going to lose a lot of distance that way. But let's see what we can do today. as I can hope for with my level of experience with those, but I don't know if you could follow that through the air. As you saw, it kind of continued to lift like normal, but because we had so much angle and so much air, it had time to come out eventually, land closer to the middle of the fairway.
All right, so there's where our Kylie landed. Now, our yellow basket over here, that's about 579 feet away from that tee, and that dead tree right there, that's approximately 500 feet. So that was just about a 500-foot throw. Stand still, not much power. If you're wondering, yes, I can throw these farther than I can throw a disc. Not quite as consistently because it's harder to control at this level of my experience. Be interested to see what we can do in the future. And from here, we got a little bit of a challenging downhill shot. Let's see what we can make happen from here.
And as you can see, just a little pop of the wrist, and it'll book its way on down there. You don't have to do much to power the throw. Just got to get it spinning and put it on the right line. It's always going to come down to the putting, so let's see if we can grab our birdie on hole 10. Alright, that's all for today's round. I hope you all enjoyed watching some Kylie golf. Special shout out to throwsticks.com. This is where I purchased this Kylie. It's made handmade in California. You can find them there yourselves. There's actually 2 varieties of these, and I did have both, but one of them did get lost in a tree. So be careful out there with you guys. Make sure you get used to them, make sure you know you're not near people, and be aware of any kind of tall trees, especially pine trees, that they might get stuck in. Thanks again.